Everyone at the fire station fell in love with one stray cat, and none of us saw it coming. Most firefighters will tell you the same thing. We're dog people. Cats, not so much. At least, that's what every guy at our station used to say. Then one skinny little orange stray showed up out of nowhere and proved every single one of us wrong. Now it's hard to imagine this firehouse without him. His name is Flame, and if you ask anyone here who really runs the station, it isn't the captain. It's the cat. The funny thing is, Flame never asked for much. He just wanted to be where people were. If we were working in the bay, he'd quietly wander over and settle down nearby. If we were cleaning the trucks, he'd weave between our boots. If someone sat down for a break, somehow he'd already be climbing into their lap before they even noticed. He never demanded attention. He just wanted to belong. Looking back, I don't think any of us realized how much we needed him. The first time Flame walked up to us, it caught everyone by surprise. We get stray cats around the station all the time. Most of them bolt the second you get within 20 feet. This one didn't. He stopped a few feet away and stared at us. One of the guys crouched down and made a little meowing sound, just joking around. To everyone's surprise, Flame answered. He meowed right back and slowly walked over like he'd been waiting for someone to notice him. The closer he got, the more we realized how rough things had been for him. You could feel every bone in his body. His ribs were showing, his fur was dirty, his ears had scars, he looked exhausted. The moment someone reached out and gently scratched under his chin, it was like every wall he'd built disappeared. He started rubbing against our legs, then he climbed straight into one of the guy's arms like he'd known him forever. From that day on, he never really left. Every morning, we'd open the bay doors, and there he'd be, waiting. Once we realized he planned on sticking around, we figured we'd better do things the right way. We took him to the vet, he got vaccinated, checked over, and finally had a full belly. Little by little, the skinny stray we first met started turning into a healthy, handsome orange cat. At first, we were nervous about what the chief would think. After all, a cat isn't exactly standard equipment at a fire station. Then, one morning, the chief walked into the bay. Flame casually trotted over, rubbed against his boots, and looked up at him with those bright orange eyes. The chief bent down, scratched behind his ears, and that was pretty much the end of the discussion. Nobody had to ask if Flame could stay. He had already won over the toughest guy in the building. From then on, he officially became part of the crew. At least that's how we all saw it. Life inside a fire station isn't exactly peaceful. The alarms never stop, the engines roar to life without warning, chainsaws scream, fans run for hours. Power tools echo through the bays, but somehow none of it ever bothered Flame. Sometimes we'd find him stretched out next to one of the trucks, completely asleep while the whole building buzzed around him.
Ideal H, get out, Flame! Back out! Back out!
He even had this strange habit of rubbing himself against the truck tailpipes. Every now and then he'd show up with a face covered in black soot. Of course we didn't want him licking that stuff off, so every once in a while we'd give him a bath. The first time was honestly hilarious. A bunch of grown firefighters stood around wearing heavy rescue gloves, fully expecting a battle. We thought we'd end up covered in scratches. Instead, Flame just looked mildly annoyed. He tolerated the whole thing better than most dogs ever would. That's when we realized he wasn't like most cats. Not even close. People see firefighters as the ones who help everyone else. What they don't always see is what the job does to us. We work 24-hour shifts, sometimes longer. We leave our families in the middle of birthdays, holidays, and dinners whenever the tones go off. Some calls stay with you long after the trucks are back in the station. You never really know what kind of day you're walking into. Some days are routine, others change you forever. And on those days, Flame somehow always seemed to know We'd pull back into the station after a difficult call, and before anyone even climbed off the truck, there he was, waiting, his tail straight up, walking toward us like he was saying, "You're back." Nobody talked much, nobody had to. Someone would pick him up, someone else would scratch behind his ears. For a few quiet minutes, the weight of the day didn't feel quite so heavy anymore. It's amazing how something as simple as a cat climbing into your lap can completely change the mood in a room. Sometimes people ask us what we did to save Flame. The truth is, I think he saved us just as much. We gave him food, a warm place to sleep, medical care, and a family. But somehow, he gave every one of us something back that you can't really measure. Comfort, laughter, a reason to smile after the hardest days. He reminded us that healing doesn't always come from big moments. Sometimes it comes from a quiet little orange cat who simply refuses to let you feel alone. Flame walked into our fire station looking for a safe place to stay. He ended up becoming part of our family, and if you've ever thought about giving a homeless animal a chance, maybe this is your sign. Sometimes, the one you're rescuing turns out to be the one who rescues you. If Flame's story made you smile, we hope you'll stick around for more stories about the incredible animals that change ordinary lives in the most unexpected ways.